everybody, welcome to this lesson in Arduino microcontrollers. Today we are going to be doing the physical hardware connections for lessons 3, 4, and 5. Now lessons 3 and 4 are the push button, and they will use the exact same wiring diagram. Makes it a little easier. So what you're going to need is the Arduino, the LED, a 10K ohm resistor, push button, jumper wires, and a breadboard. So the first thing you're going to need to do is place your LED into pins 13 and ground, much like we did with the very first lesson of blinking the LED. Now remember, your LED has two pins on it, a long pin and a short pin. The short pin, which is your negative, that is your cathode, and the long pin is the anode. So that long pin, which is the positive pin, or the anode pin, needs to be plugged into 13, and the short pin goes into ground. Next, you're going to need to take your push button and put it into your breadboard. You can see in my example picture here, I have it in E5 and E7, and it's bridging the gap right there. That helps prevent higher fail rate with these, because the push button doesn't have a specific flow to it, doesn't have an anode and cathode. It's kind of agnostic that way. So in our wiring, we're actually choosing what is going where. Next, you need to connect that 10K ohm resistor to the push button. You can see here I have mine in E7. D7. So you can see it's connecting right here with the push button. That's E7. The resistor starts here on D7, and then I'm jumping it down to D15. Next, you're going to need to connect a wire from your 5 volt on the Arduino board. And you're going to need to jump that to the other side, or the other pin of the push button, in this case D5. So we have the 5 volt here running into my push button along this horizontal path in the breadboard. So D5, and it's going to be triggering into E5 from there. Next, you're going to need to connect a wire from ground, so G and D. You can find that right next to the 5 volt. And you're going to need to put that over, hopefully I can move my, there. You're going to need to put that at the end of the resistor right there. Now that my video's out of the way, you can see that. So G and D is going over to the end of the resistor, so that'll be placed into C, C15 is what it is. You're also going to need to connect a pin or a wire from pin 7. And you're going to need to put that into C7 right there. So you can see in this line of the push button, we have our push button in E7, resistor here in D7, and then our pin 7 pin is C7. So once you have that set up, you can upload both the lesson 3 and lesson 4 to test out that push button command. Next, we're going to be looking at the lesson 5 wiring diagram. Items that you're going to need for this are the Arduino, a breadboard, an LED, a 220 ohm resistor, and some jumper wires. First, you're going to need to plug the LED into the breadboard. You can see in this example here, I have my cathode, the short pin, is being plugged into E10, and the anode, which is the positive side, the long pin, is being plugged into E11. Then we're going to take the 220 ohm resistor and we're going to plug that into the cathode. And you can see here in this photo, I made the mistake of not plugging it into the cathode here. So make sure you move that over into this spot here. That would put it into, what did we say, D10 there. So yeah, D10. And then up here, I have this being plugged into D4. Next, we need to take a wire, and we're going to connect it to G and D, and we're going to jump that over onto our breadboard and plug it into the other end of the resistor in the breadboard, or in this case, D4. Again, remember the breadboard, when it's in the center area here, runs horizontal, whereas these over here run vertical. Next, we need to connect a wire from pin 9. So we're going to go from pin 9 over into our anode of the LED. And that's it. That's all you need for the fade sketch. Now what you can do is upload that onto the board, and then you can see how we're getting the LED to fade back and forth by bouncing from level 0 to 255. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment on this video on YouTube, or you can drop a comment if you're in the Google Classroom for this Arduino microcontrollers class as well. Thanks for watching.